Let's start with a really simple, almost funny image. It comes from Václav Havel's incredible 1978 essay, The Power of the Powerless. So picture this, a greengrocer shop. You've got your onions, your carrots, and right there in the middle of it all, a sign that says, "Workers of the world unite." It's weird, right? It just feels totally out of place. But for Havel, this everyday little scene held the key to understanding everything about power, control, and rebellion.
So the big question is, why does he do it? Is this guy secretly a die-hard communist dreaming of revolution while he sells potatoes? Well, Havel says the real reason is a lot more complicated, and that this one simple question is going to unlock the entire mechanism of a really unique and sneaky kind of power. Okay, so let's dive in and unpack what is truly one of the most important essays of the 20th century. And what's so fascinating is that it wasn't written by a politician or a general. It was written by Václav Havel, a playwright, a thinker, a man whose most powerful political weapon was just the written word. To really get what's going on with the greengrocer and his sign, we first have to wrap our heads around the world he's living in. Havel had a specific name for it. He didn't just call it a dictatorship, he called it the Post-Totalitarian system.
Now, Havel makes this super important distinction. This isn't your classic dictatorship, with a tyrant ruling through brute force. The post-totalitarian system is different. It's more like a giant, sprawling, bureaucratic machine. Power isn't out in the open. It's hidden behind a thick layer of rules, rituals, and, crucially, a very powerful ideology. It's less about one person in charge and more about an all-encompassing system that everyone is trapped inside.
At the absolute center of this system is ideology. Havel describes it as a kind of secularized religion. And that's a brilliant way to put it. It gives people a ready-made answer for everything. It's like a bridge of excuses that papers over the massive gap between the grim reality of life and people's natural desire for dignity. It creates a whole world of appearances, a facade that everyone is just expected to play along with. And that brings us right back to our greengrocer. The ideology explains exactly why he puts that sign in his window. Because you see, it's not about what the slogan actually says, it's about what it does. That slogan? It's a signal. It's a performance. What the greengrocer is really saying is, look, I'm playing the game. I'm obedient, so please just leave me alone. He's not expressing some deep political conviction. He's just performing the required ritual of conformity so he can get on with his life. It's a survival tactic.
And this performance is what Havel calls living within a lie. Here's the kicker. You don't actually have to believe the lies. You just have to participate. You just have to act as if you do. By putting up the sign, by showing up to vote in sham elections, by staying quiet, individuals aren't just obeying the system, they are actively creating it. They confirm the system, they fulfill the system, they are the system.
So when you step back, you see that this huge collective lie is the pillar holding the entire thing up. It's what makes everyone, from the Prime Minister all the way down to our greengrocer, both a victim and a supporter at the same time. This constant public performance of agreement creates this immense social pressure, so much so that just not playing along feels like you're attacking society itself.
But what happens if one day our greengrocer just stops? What if he wakes up and decides, you know what? I'm not playing this game anymore.
This simple choice, to be honest, to just make his actions match what he actually believes, is what Havel calls living within the truth. It starts out as a deeply personal moral decision, but in a system built on lies, it's also a politically explosive act. And the consequences? They are swift. He'll lose his job, his kids might not get into college, the system has to crush this tiny rebellion, because it's a threat.
Now, think about this. The greengrocer hasn't tried to start a revolution. He hasn't seized any power. He has done something far, far more dangerous to the system. He's punctured that world of appearances. He's told the truth.
And this reveals the system's greatest weakness. You see, a lie only really works if it's universal. The second one person steps out of line and decides to live in the truth, they expose the whole thing as a sham. Their simple, honest act is like a bright light that suddenly illuminates the fragile, rotten foundations of the entire power structure.
And this right here, this is the central paradox of Havel's entire essay. The real power that is available to the powerless doesn't come from guns or money or traditional politics. It comes from the truth itself.
Havel uses this just incredible metaphor to describe what happens. He says truth isn't like a tank or a battalion of soldiers. He calls it a bacteriological weapon. Isn't that amazing? It can spread invisibly through a society, infecting the tissue of lies, causing the whole structure to just disintegrate from the inside out. It doesn't fight the system on the system's terms. It completely undermines the ground the system is standing on.
So why is truth so powerful? Well, because it has an ally. Havel says that under the surface of all that conformity, there's a hidden sphere inside every single person. It's that part of us that just longs for dignity, for freedom, for some kind of moral integrity. And when one person lives in truth, their actions speak directly to that hidden potential in everyone else. It awakens something that the system can't control.
This just completely flips our whole idea of where real politics begins. It's not in political parties or in grand manifestos. It starts in what Havel calls the pre-political space, the realm of your individual conscience, the simple human desire to live an authentic life. And this might be his most radical idea, that a single moral act can be the most powerful political act of all.
And when enough people start living this way, they naturally begin to connect and build their own things. You get underground publishing, private concerts, uncensored art. These things create an independent life for society. Havel gave it a name, the parallel polis, basically a second culture, a second society built on truth, existing right there alongside the official state that's built on lies.
Ultimately, Havel's essay leaves us with this powerful, maybe even uncomfortable challenge. He completely reverses how we usually think about change. He argues that you can't just create a better system and hope it will make people's lives better. No, it's the other way around. A better life, a life lived in truth, is the only thing that can create a better system. Change has to grow from the ground up, from the moral choices of individuals. And even though he was writing about a specific time and place, it forces us to ask a timeless question. What about us? In our own lives, in our own societies, what are the slogans in the window? What are the little lies we're asked to play along with? And what might happen if we, just like the greengrocer, simply chose to live in truth?